I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers, and this is This Week
in Recruiting.
It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter, Next Level D1. See his fine work on TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Powers, I missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too, man. How's the baby?
He's good. You know, he's eating, he's sleeping, all that fun stuff. And I don't know. But I still miss you. We're having to talk through the magic of Zoom, but it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. I certainly get this. And by the way, I'd be remiss if I did not mention that this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express, I didn't miss them because I went like 3 times while I was on paternity leave.
You should figure out a way to put that gravy in a bottle for Max so that he can enjoy it.
I mean, you want to talk about a boy that would grow up hearty. Feed him Chicken Express gravy out of a bottle. That'd be it's the way to go. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, Next Level Athlete. A lot to get to today on today's roundup. We're going to start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise, we're going to the Brazos Valley to talk about College Station 2022 offensive and defensive lineman Connor Lindgren, who has picked up a big-time in-state offer from TCU. He is, we're past the early signing period, and there's, a lot of guys have already signed their letter of intent for 2022, but not everybody. And Lindgren feels like one of those, how you get into the NFL draft and they start doing the boards like best available? I feel like Connor Lindgren falls into one of those categories of best available.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's a big guy, 6'5", 305 pounds. He has experience playing on both sides of the football. I kind of think I like him better as an offensive lineman, but his athleticism on the defensive front kind of tells you what he would be bringing to the table no matter where he ends up playing. He's also considering offers from schools like Arizona State, Purdue, and Vanderbilt. But I have to think an offer from TCU in the Big 12, not too far away from home, given his friends and family a chance to watch him play in college has to be something that he's going to seriously consider. There's not too many days left now before National Signing Day in February, so it'll be interesting to see can the Horned Frogs make up some ground and get him in this signing class. I think he'd be a big pickup for them, a DCTF 3-star guy.
Connor Lindgren out of College Station, one of the best available. Let's get to our commit of the week, where we'll talk about a guy who we found out this week is not on the best available list. We're talking about Spring Westfield defensive tackle AJ Holmes, who was a Mr. Texas football finalist this year. He announced this week that he signed with Houston during the early signing period. It's kind of one of those low-key signings. He checked in at number 77, the DCTF Hot 100. I know personally that Ishmael Johnson in our office will not shut up about this kid. And when you watch the tape, it's easy to see why Houston fans should be so excited about getting this young man.
He was the Houston Touchdown Club Defensive Player of the Year. I believe he was a finalist for Mr. Texas Football. So that's a rare quality in a defensive tackle. This is a guy that really makes a lot of plays. He's explosive. You were out, Tepper, but we kind of talked about this guy a little bit a couple weeks back. And I said, you know what, this kind of feels like a Houston type of thing. And I had no inside information. I was like, I don't have any inside information here. But he plays at Spring Westfield just like Ed Oliver. He has a lot of similar qualities to Ed Oliver, who also won the Houston Touchdown Club Defensive Player of the Year whenever he was a senior. And I said, there's just like, for some reason, a Houston feel to this. And when we were talking about him, he had already signed. So we didn't know that. But, I mean, maybe there was like something coming from the ether about Holmes ending up in the Houston class. But he's a great defensive line prospect who has lots of room for development at 6'2", 270, and he has a knack for finding the football. He flat out gets after it. This is a huge addition for Houston, who really did a great job in the recruiting class in 2022.
Yeah, I felt like they really closed strong there with Dana Holgerson and company. We're talking This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, the Next Level Athlete. Get involved in the conversation, #TFDay. Let's go to our underclassmen of the week. Our underclassmen of the week, we're going to the DFW Metroplex to talk about Mansfield 2023 defensive end Caleb James, who committed this week to Arkansas. We have him at number 47 in our DCTF Hot 100 for the class of 2023. He had offers from all over the place, including Oklahoma and Baylor and SMU and Tech and Oklahoma State. But the Hogs bring in Caleb James out of Mansfield and talk about an explosive playmaker off the edge. This kid gets after it.
Yeah, no doubt. And he dominated private school competition. He played for Fort Worth Nolan Catholic last year. And next year, he's going to be playing at Mansfield. So this is a huge pickup for the Tigers there. This is a guy who's going to come in and, absolutely change their defense from day one. He can slide around and do some different things. He can disrupt as a defensive end, get after the quarterback, make plays behind the line of scrimmage. But he's really powerful. He uses his hands really well. He's hard to move, and he'll slide around and play some from the inside as well. So this is a guy who can do multiple things up front, not just a one-trick pony. And I'll be interested to see how he develops over the next year and a half, to see if he truly grows into a defensive tackle, or is he a strong side defensive end at Arkansas. So just a huge pickup for the Hogs. They're going to remain valid in the Lone Star State, and this kind of signifies it by adding a 4-star DCTF Hot 100 guy in the 2023 cycle.
And we're going to round out what has been a very defensive-minded this week in recruiting, especially defensive line-minded, with our Recruit of the Week. Our Recruit of the Week is Fort Bend Marshall 2023 defensive end Zachary Chapman. He was at the Next Level Athlete Texas Top 100 Showcase in Houston and took home defensive line MVP honors. Here's a guy who's got a couple of offers, most notably places like Baylor, Houston, and Texas Tech. But you think this is a guy in Zachary Chapman out of Fort Bend Marshall who is you think he's about to blow up, right?
No doubt. This is a dude, long arms. He passes the eyeball test. I think there was some question about him because he suffered an injury during the season, so he doesn't have a whole lot of clips. I think that he racked up 35 tackles or 40 tackles last year, so he did play through what would be considered an injury-plagued junior season, but now he's back 100% healthy, and he really is a looker. One of those guys who he walks through the door and you're like, oh, wow. And, some schools are already on him, and some big-time schools too, basically 5 P5 schools now that Houston will be bumped up. So he's got 5 P5 offers already, which kind of tells you that P5 schools really liked what they saw from him already. But when word gets out on this guy, when his tape starts to circulate from the Next Level Athlete Top 100 Showcase and people see him walk through the door on junior day visits, the offers are just going to fly in. This is a guy who could play for anybody in the country. And I think in about 3 months' time, we'll all know it.
Well, a guy we already know here is Greg Powers, the Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter at Next Level D1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Powers, it's so good to be back with you. And why don't we plan on doing this again next week?
Let's do it then. See you soon.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.